Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. I'm Dan Haidt, and this is Flies in the Kitchen. Right at the top, I want to take a minute and just thank everyone for all your kind words about episode 1 with Kelly Zullo. It was a great conversation, and I appreciate the feedback. If you feel moved, please head over to iTunes and leave a review for me and a rating. It'd mean a lot, and it would help with visibility. Because, of course, being brand new, my visibility is pretty minimal at this point. Today I'm talking with Anthony Mossburg, a multi-award-winning songwriter from Columbus, but he grew up in New Matamoros, Ohio. It's a tiny little town in Washington County, and we actually set up for this interview at the People's Bank Theater in Marietta, which is not far from Anthony's hometown. We were both performing there for an event and showed up a couple hours early and hung out in the green room, which is directly below the stage. It certainly wasn't a studio setting, so you will definitely hear some creaking floorboards and footsteps above us throughout. In fact, at one point, some sweet ladies walked in with some sandwiches and cookies for the event's performers, so whatever. They were delicious, by the way. But anyway, Anthony Mossburg has experienced quite a lot in his young career. He had a stint in the Christian contemporary music industry where he opened up for big names like Toby Mac, Francesca Battistelli, Skillet, and Matthew West. His songwriting took off like a rocket with instant hits like Whiskey and Wine from his self-titled album. Here's that song.
Well, I'm a little more country. You're a big city girl. I'd rather stay home. You wanna travel the world. I'm more like my father. You're just like your mom. I'm more the outcast. You're the one who belongs. Well, I'm a little more rebel, but you're no fool. I'm a black suit outlaw. You're dressed like blue. Oh, I'm just like midnight while you're high noon. Oh, I'm a little more Johnny. You're a little more June.
This song earned him the Ohio Music Award for Singer-Songwriter Song of the Year. His album also won the Ohio Music Award for Country Album of the Year, which broke into the top 10 of indie albums on iTunes. In total, he currently has 6 studio recordings, and he just released a new single, My Drug, which skyrocketed to the top 20 spot on iTunes, wedged nicely between John Mayer and Old Crow Medicine Show, actually with James Taylor peeking down from 17. So yeah, Anthony knows what he wants, and he knows what he's doing. I think you'll like this one. Okay, last thing. So, this is a brand new venture for me, and as such, there is a learning curve. I messed up the levels a little bit while recording this one, and so it'll sound a little muddy at certain points, usually when I'm talking. Luckily, Anthony does most of the talking, and for the most part, it's not all that noticeable, but it is to me, so sorry. Live and learn. I'm getting better at it, so thanks for your patience. Okay, let's go over to my conversation with Mr. Anthony Mossburg.
I don't need whiskey on my breath. I don't need smoke from cheap cigarettes inside my chest, no. There ain't no needle I can blame. I can feel the same damn thing anytime I hear your name. You're the one thing I use. You are my high, you're what I crave. You are my vice, scream my name. The one thing I just can't refuse.
3 days ago. I was driving, had the windows down, 70-some degrees.
I know.
And then last night it snowed for a little bit.
Where? At home?
Up in Dublin.
In Dublin.
Yeah, my girlfriend works in Dublin, and she's a bartender. She was coming home last night at like midnight, and it wasn't like a lot, but it was flurrying. I'm gonna drop this down just a smidge.
Do it.
Oh, right there. I better not have gum in, actually. I'll be chomping that the whole time. You been here before?
I have not been here before.
Okay, this is your first time, yeah. Yeah, I did my there's a trash can. I did my release here in the summer, which was really cool.
Uh-huh.
I mean, just because.
For Crazy?
Yeah, for Crazy. Did you see the theater? Have you seen the theater?
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, I did a full band release here back in the summer.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. And we hung out down here most of the time. But it's nice too, because when you're hanging out down here, you can still hear, because the stage is right here.
Yes.
You can hear everything that's going on as well. So it's a good.
Right. Is that the only time you've played here?
Yes, that was the only time I played here.
How did you secure this spot? Did you just kind of because?
Yeah, we just talked to him. We emailed him and said what I was looking to do, and I mean, we had to pick a date that they were open on or available on, and we finally found one, and so yeah, we just scheduled it, and then it's expensive to rent to do for the night, but we were able to get a good amount of people here, which was nice, and so yeah, it was a good night.
That's good. Yeah, it was a great album. I was listening to it on the way down, actually.
Thanks.
And again, I have it in my car. It's in the rotation.
Nice.
So
do you have 6? What is your? My car has a 6-disc changer in it.
No, I don't have a 6-disc.
Yeah.
I just have a with slot.
Oh, nice.
It's an old
no,
it's an old Alero, so it only has a slot.
Well, even the 6-disc changer is like old school now.
Yeah.
So
my wife had one in the back in the trunk. You know, where they used to have they stick them the cartridges back in the trunk.
My ex stepdad, he had one of those for a while, and he would always open the trunk, go back there, and put different CDs in and everything like that. Mine's just right there in the front, though. But
yeah.
But yeah.
So you silenced your phone. I'm going to silence mine.
Yeah, I just put it on.
I'm pretty bad at that.
I've gotten to be pretty good at it just because I've had to have it go off a few times.
Yeah.
And I feel like an idiot when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, how did I forget to do that?
Yeah.
And I even have friends who will purposely, like if I'm doing something important, sometimes they'll call my phone or text me just to see if it's on, just to like throw me off. So I
while you're doing something important?
Yeah, well, not like super important, but like especially if they're at something, they'll just call me just to see.
Okay.
Yeah, like if they're in the crowd and they see me up there, they'll just call me just to try to mess with me. So I had to figure that out pretty early. I had to put my phone away so they can't even don't even give them a chance. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So you are you from this area?
Yeah.
This is your hometown, pretty much, right?
Pretty much. So if you go up Route 7 about 30 miles, there's a little town called New Matamoros, Ohio. And that's where I grew up from. I went from second grade all through high school. I lived there. To do anything, like we'd come to Marietta for Walmart, Parkersburg for the mall. This is like the big area close to my hometown. Like my hometown, we didn't have any chain restaurants or anything like that. So we come to Marietta, or we go north to New Martinsville, West Virginia. So we're in between. We're kind of in between, like where Wheeling, West Virginia, and up in like St. Clairsville, Ohio. And then Marietta down here, we're like in the middle of that. It's a real small town.
So I see a lot of dates that you have up in this area, Parkersburg, Marietta, and
yep. I play in Parkersburg tomorrow night, and yeah, I've and I actually went to Marietta College for 2 years. So I know this area very, very well. But it's nice too because when I do come back and play here, I can stay at my mom's, or my grandma lives in Parkersburg, or I have friends in Marietta I can stay with too. So it's it's a good setup.
So this is where you. You can hear the.
I wonder
it's probably above us.
It might be.
We're in the People's Bank Theater
in
Marietta, Ohio, getting ready to perform actually in a couple hours for an event. But we're chilling in the green room.
Yeah, which is below the stage, which is made of wood, and it's beautiful, but a little creaky.
It is. In fact, it looks like a lot of these
floor joists are being held up by leather.
Right.
I don't even know what is.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know what all
When
that
I
is.
did my release show here in the summer, we had a guy open up the show just acoustic, and when he was doing it, he did a song where he was kind of stomping on the floor just a little bit, and I could hear I could hear it like it sounded like he was a kick through the ceiling, and it wasn't stomping that
dust
hard.
dust
Yeah,
falling
dust
down?
Pieces of wood crumbling down. Looks like Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. So crazy. That's the latest album, right?
That's the latest album. Yeah, I did a single about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and but yeah,
My
that's
Drug.
My Drug. Yeah, but Crazy is the last full project I've done.
And My Drug has shot skyrocketed.
It did really well. I've released a couple like singles here and there, but never any that hadn't been. Like I did one a few years ago that was for anti-human trafficking or human trafficking awareness song. I did that maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was, I didn't really put much into the actual marketing or letting people know about it. I just got it done and like released it and said, hey, here's a song if you want it, cool. I didn't let anybody know before then. So
there wasn't a lot of hype about it.
Right. And then it just, this one just, just went well.
How do you think that happened?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think we worked really hard on the song, and I think that I've been doing this for a little while now, and so each time you release something, you get to know more people, and more people get familiar with your work, and then the next release you have, there's more people listening, and then hopefully that continues as I go to release another, whatever, and
was My Drug at 20 on the
it got to 20.
iTunes?
It got to 20. Whiskey so far before that, the highest one was Whiskey and Wine when I released that. But that was part of an album. So the album did really well, and because of that, the song did really well. But it got up to number 38, and I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah.
I didn't expect My Drug to get up that high, but it did, which was great.
Well, I want to go back a little bit. So you were actually born in West Virginia, right?
Yeah, I was born in Fairmont, West Virginia.
Oh, Fairmont. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
How long did you stay there?
I was only there for a couple of maybe 2 years, right when I was born, and then we moved in. My mom and I moved in with my grandma in Vienna / Parkersburg, West Virginia, across the river, and lived there. I went to Neal Elementary School, which is in Vienna / Parkersburg, for kindergarten and first grade, and then in between first and second grade, that's when I moved up to New Matamoros, my little hometown, and I was there from second grade all the way through high school.
So it's just you and your mom?
Yeah, just me and my mom. My mom still lives in New Mat, and a lot of my friends still live down there. But I have a lot of family in Morgantown, Fairmont area as well as Parkersburg too. So.
Was Dad just never part of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know a ton about when I was born. I mean, but he was there like off and on a little bit when I was first born, I think, and then he moved to Florida, and then I actually didn't even really meet him until I was about 17.
Oh, okay.
And then so I didn't like he had moved to Florida before I was probably even 1 or 2, and then my mom and I moved in, and then I think it was my junior year of high school. We met for the first time, and he came to a couple football games and stuff. But I mean, it's been an interesting relationship. But now it's kind of just casual. We see each other when we see each other, and that's about it. So
all right,
yeah,
all right. So you moved. What was the town again? The name that you grew up in?
New Matamoros.
New Matamoros.
Yes, New Matamoros. Yep.
Okay,
it's technically a village.
A village. Okay.
I think last time I checked, I think the population was something in the 700s, maybe the low 700s. Of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not many people.
All right. So everybody knew everybody.
Everyone definitely knows everyone. Which has its ups and downs, just like everything else.
Sure.
And now that I've lived in Columbus for a little while, I've lived there. I mean, you see the benefits of both, and also the cons of both as well. So.
Yeah. So you were a sports kid, right?
Yeah, I played football from fourth grade all the way, and I played in college as well. And that was kind of like my main focus growing up. I played all the time. That was what I always wanted to do. Like my whole dream was football. I played guitar. I started playing guitar when I was 9, but I didn't really take it seriously. I just did it for fun, and because I started young, I could kind of do it. Once I got older, like I could play and sing at the same time. Although I wouldn't sing in front of anyone until I was probably like 19 years old. Yeah, I just was terrified. and it was just kind of something on the side I'd pick up every once in a while. And then once football kind of dropped off, that's when I kind of turned to music for some sort of stress relief / therapy / venting, stuff like that.
So what happened with football?
Once I got into college, basically right out of high school, I got a scholarship to play at Robert Morris University, which is right outside of Pittsburgh. It's a Division I AA school. I was there for a little while, and then I came home and went to a community college in that transition. So I didn't really play that first year out of high school. Yeah. And then the next year when I went to play at Marietta, I was just having trouble staying healthy. I had a lot of concussions, which was a big part of it. I almost completely tore my hamstring at one point. I had separated my shoulder at one point. I broke my hand. Just all this stuff it just kept happening, and it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm like, this is pretty much the end of it. Like I could tell that I'm not going to be going to the pros. I'm not doing any of this stuff. So, and then with the concussions as well, I was like, this is just not worth it anymore. I'm getting way too much damage, and so I quit my third year in college. And so I still got 1 year left. I think I might go back and take over. I joke with my friends about that sometimes. One of my buddies a lot of my friends are big Cleveland Brown fans. And so I say, I got a year eligibility in college. I may go back, dominate college for a year and go pro. I might do it. That's right. That would never happen. No. But yes, I played football for a long time.
And you said you played guitar when you were 9.
Yeah.
And then you just it was just kind of a hobby.
Yeah, my ex-stepdad, when I was little, he had a few guitars laying around, and so I remember I think I was in 4th grade, and I got a guitar. I picked up it was an acoustic guitar, and I started looking up guitar tabs online. I could just type in. I think the first song I learned was Pink Floyd, "Wish You Were Here," and I looked up. And my sister played a little bit as well, so she kind of guided me. They kind of told me how to read the tabs with like the X to see where your finger. So I just learned how to play the songs. I had no clue what I was playing though, like no chords, no notes, anything. I just knew the structure of how to make it sound that way. And so I did that for a while until I could kind of play the songs I wanted to play. And then we'll just do that off and on. And then as I got older, I started to play more and more just on the side. And eventually I remember one day I was sitting there before school and I tried to play. I was like, I think I can sing and play at the same time. So I played, what was it? Let Her Cry, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, really? Oh,
That was the first one I had ever. I was like, okay, I can do this because I'd never tried to sing and play at the same time, and so I did that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm not going to sing in front of people, but that's fun to be able to do. And so I did that, and then it was just always kind of in my back pocket, and then once football was done, I really turned to that to that's when I started trying to write songs just to kind of vent and let stuff out.
So you were listening to those guys. Who else were you listening to when you were growing up?
I grew up on a lot of '90s country at first because I was living way out in the country in New Matamoros with my mom, my ex-stepdad, and just me, and everyone out there pretty much listened to country at the time, pretty much, and still does usually. But so that was all I knew. And then my sister, I have 2 older half sisters, and when they moved in with us, they brought in Pink Floyd, Sublime. They introduced me to artist bands that I had no clue even existed, that were way outside of the world that I was used to, and I think another one was some other They brought it. They like Lenny Kravitz, just a bunch of this stuff that was way different than what I was listening to. So I started to listen to what they were listening to, still listen to what I did. Fleetwood Mac was probably my biggest one when I was growing up, and when I was in 5th grade, I had my mom buy me their Rumors CD. And I listened to that thing on repeat for probably the whole year. I loved that's still probably my favorite album of all time. And
you come on and bring it in if you want.
Where you want to know where we're putting the food?
I think right on this table. I think so. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's all right.
Eat up, guys.
We'll take it.
We will for sure. If we eat it fast enough, no one else will know it was here, right? Is that how that works?
That's right.
You'll have a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you
Thank
later.
you so
sounds
much.
good.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, Fleetwood Mac was a big one growing
Yeah.
up, and that's still probably one of their Rumors album is probably my favorite album of all time. So, and then I went through phases in high school. I went through a rap phase, a rock phase. I can kind of get into any genre.
You do get into any genre.
Yeah.
I've seen that in your shows.
Yeah.
You'll pull something out.
Yeah, I try to mix it up, especially if it's just me with an acoustic up there. I try to,
yeah.
and especially like sometimes, like tomorrow night, I play for 2 hours.
Oh,
So that's a long time to be doing the exact same style or the same thing
Yeah.
the whole time. People just naturally get bored of it. So I've tried to mix in some other stuff just to catch people off guard. They wouldn't expect me to do. So
Okay.
makes it fun.
So when did you start? Because I want to understand like the time between, finding "Wish You Were Here"
Right.
and opening up for like Toby Mac,
Right.
and people like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? How did that kind of accelerate for you?
So I I was in college. I married at college, and I had gotten another concussion, and the doctor was basically. When I went to see the doctor, he was basically like, "Look, I can't tell you that you're not allowed to play. Like I can't do that. Like, but he's like, it's definitely not healthy." And like the way he put it was like, if you want to remember like your kids' names when you're older and stuff like that, you probably should not play. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. And that's when I was sitting there. I was like, this isn't going the way I planned anyways. So I had kind of had enough, and I stopped playing. So I went back to my dorm room and I started playing, like trying to write songs and playing some songs. And at the same time, I had started going to a church down here, and the youth group was doing a mission trip to Jamaica, and I was going with them as a leader. And so everyone was trying to raise money. I think it was like $3,000 or $2,000 to be able to go. And so my friend Kevin and we were like, let's do a concert and try to raise money for this. So that was the first concert I'd ever done, really. And so we did a concert, probably maybe 12 songs, all covers except when we did one original that I had written at the time. The first one I had ever written, and in my mind, it's terrible. I don't like it.
They always are. Your first song.
Oh, I mean, it's just you learn stuff as you keep progressing in something, and you look back at your first steps. And some people may hear it and like it, but
Right.
to me, I hear it and I cringe.
Yeah.
But so we did the concert, and then there was a couple of people at that show who were like, "Hey, would you do this at our church or at our event?" And so I was like, "Yeah, I could try. Like, I just do covers. Like, I don't know what I'm doing really." But so then I do that, and then that kind of just kept going. I kept playing, and then I was like, "Well, I think I could write some songs." So I started working on writing and doing that. And then once I had a small batch of songs, I was like, "Well, I should probably record these, I guess, so people can have them or buy them at shows." And did that. And then that was about the time where I started to realize that it was becoming more than just like a back pocket thing or a hobby. I was like, I think I really want to pursue this and see what happens. Like, maybe it's nothing, which is fine, but maybe I can give it a run. And so I really started putting everything into music and spending time writing and learning and playing guitar and trying to make myself, just sharpen the skill of songwriting and performing. And so I did that for a while. And my first two CDs I did were, the first one was like a 5 or 6 song EP. It was called Cover Me. And then the next one was called The Rambler. And I did both of those in Georgia with a producer down there. And that was that was when I was getting to do a lot of the CCM stuff, the contemporary Christian music opportunities. And then, so that was how that morphed. I just kind of kept playing. People kept asking me to play. So I would take any any time. It didn't matter what it was. I was actually at one point, a guy I met, a guy had a flat tire. I met him. I was driving for my mom's company, and I helped him with his flat tire. And he was he was from Africa, and he was a pastor in Columbus. And he told me to come to his church and play. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do it." I drove up. It was a Sunday night. Service was supposed to start at 6. I got there at like 5:30. It was just acoustic. I played 2 songs. The service lasted 6 hours. And like they were at one point they're pulling out these like ram's horns. Like I started playing a song, and they're from Me to You.
Yeah.
And for anybody listening, it's a couple of feet, and they're blowing these things right at me. And and I'm playing songs. I have no clue what's going on. I didn't get out of there until like midnight or 1, and then had to drive back to New Matt because that's where I was living. I was still living at home with my mom, and it was just, I got myself into some interesting situations, to say the least. Sweet people, just wasn't really the greatest setup. But so yeah, there was just playing a ton at that time.
Well, tell me more about this CCM kind of, because you Skillet and Toby Mac and Matthew West and Aaron Schust and all those. Those are really
those are the big guys.
Big guys.
Yeah.
How did you fall into that?
Some of them, there were a few that were competitions. I had entered a couple on. One was I can't even remember the name of it now. Sonic Bids.
Yeah.
I had an account on there when I was doing that stuff, and I had won. I think I had won like 8 or 9 of the competitions on there. So one was to do one at Cedar Point, where I opened up for. It was like Francesca Battistelli and Skillet. That was the Skillet one, and Jamie Grace and those people, and most of those, they were cool opportunities, but you get one song, maybe 2 songs, which is still cool.
Yeah.
But and so I got to do it, and the other one was in Atlanta. There was a talent search competition. You go down on Thursday in the morning, and it was basically like 20 artists, and they had judges, and they pick one winner, and the winner gets to perform before that one was Toby Mac. The winner gets to open up, and it was like 20,000 people.
Wow.
And it was me and basically 18 rappers and one children's songwriter guy.
Oh yeah.
And he like actually had little kids on stage with him and everything. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy, but it was just. It was cool for like if you just heard it, but to see it, it was a little weird. But but I was able to win. I was able to win that one and then play that night or that evening in front of or on stage, and I got to hang out on stage. Like there was a lady that was kind of responsible for like almost like guiding me where I needed to be. Like I had to stay with her at all times. And once I was done, she was like, you can do whatever you want. If we leave, you're not going to be able to come back in, but we can just sit here on the side of the stage if you want. And I was like, yeah, let's just hang out. So I hung out on stage for the next like 3 or 4 acts. Not when Toby Mac was up there, just because I figured it'd be too kind of hectic up there. Yeah. So, but there's a rapper, Tadashi. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Yeah. He was right after me, and he was killer. Like it was really good. It was really, really good.
I think I saw him once at one of those jams. It was winter. Or
where they have a ton of artists. Yeah. Yep. It was really good. But I got to hang out there and do that kind of stuff. And I was able to do a few of those. The Matthew West one was when I was doing this human trafficking awareness event.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I worked with an organization for about a year. Who they're not really an organization anymore. They kind of got swept up into another company, another organization that does the same thing. But we were trying to do like 40. The goal was to do 40 colleges in a year and do 40 shows and raise awareness about human trafficking to college students. And I would go. It was just me and the guy that ran the whole company, and we would, I would play some music and I would try to have some fun. I didn't want it to be like completely. It's a really dark issue, so I didn't want to make it just a depressing night. So we tried to have some fun with it, and so we did a good amount of those shows. And on New Year's Eve, I think it was probably 4 years ago, maybe 5. It was Matthew West, Britt Nicole, me, and there was one other band. Oh, I can't remember the other band, but and it was just the 4 of us. It was at Stage AE in Pittsburgh, and it was an awesome. It was a really cool event, really fancy event. But so we got to do that and meet all those guys, which was really cool. They were super kind and super nice at the time. So that was another cool event. But I kind of. Yeah, I'll end that one there. I didn't step out of that. I went after about that time. I went for about a year with that. Like I would go to write a song, and I would be like, man, like, this isn't going to work in the CCM world. Like, regardless of what it is, like that's just a very, it's very the bullseye for that for what you're able to release is very small. So I was writing songs, and whether it was about, I wrote a song about my grandma passing away. I was like, well, that's not really, doesn't really fit in that area. Like I was starting to write stuff that was more just about what I was experiencing, and so I went for a year, couldn't write a song. 2, I was just like, look, I'm just gonna let whatever wants to come out, and let it be completely natural. And if it doesn't fit in a genre, I'm totally fine with that. And just and since then, it's been way better.
Your writing to me, and I've noticed this since, hearing you. I think I heard you for the first time in Marion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when we were playing together up there for a Mets event.
Yeah,
and I had the thing that I remember was the depth that not only your songs went to, but the depth that you went to.
Yeah,
and it was like every performance was an actual, experience for you, and getting into that space,
right?
Into that emotion of where that moment is, and it's not just singing notes. And tell me about like that process about getting, because I don't know if that can get exhausting or if that can just be because it seems to me like, even on Crazy on the album, all these songs, I can get a sense of that,
right?
Of that real depth.
Yeah.
So
I take that as a huge compliment, because that's definitely what I try to do. And it's not even that I try to do it. It's just that for me, songwriting is a very, very, it's a very, very big form of therapy for me. Like if I'm dealing with something, like a lot of times if I'm songwriting, I'll just be coming up with something on guitar, and I'll just start humming or making up nonsense words. And usually something will just kind of start to form and come out. And I just kind of try to follow that. And obviously there's, you have to, I'll set my phone down on voice memos and just let whatever comes out record it. And then I'll go back in and really try to like pin down and then once I have a theme or something, then I'll go and sharpen all the words and make sure that it fits. But I do. To me, the music that I gravitate towards is stuff that's more than just noise. Like, there's some really cool stuff, happening with some pop songs that the production is great, but I feel like a lot of them, it's just noise. Like, and that works. A lot of people, they go to shows, they just want to have loud music and move around and see some lights. Like that's great. It's great for what it is. I've just never really gone that route. I think that music can be so powerful and communicate things that just saying them wouldn't ever do. Like I could tell you a story about something and you would get the point of it, but if I can communicate that same story in a song with chords and lyrics, going back and forth with each other and really make you feel it, that's where it becomes something a little bit more than just noise to me. And so I've always tried. Some of my favorite artists are the songs where you hear them and it's like you're there. It's like you feel exactly. And so I've always tried to do that. When I play, I definitely try to get into that mindset of whatever, because I feel like you're going to perform it and sing it more passionately if you're actually thinking about it. And so I do that. And I almost think it helps me because some of the songs are pretty deep. But for the most part, I get all that stuff out in songwriting. Like, I feel like that's my way of getting it out. And then after that, I'm good. Like,
and that has to take a major amount of vulnerability,
right?
Just to put yourself in that space and to share that space with other people.
Yeah.
In the moment.
And I used to never, I remember starting to write songs before and, I would scrap them right away. I'd be like, this is a little bit too much. I don't know if I want to say that and now I've gotten to the point where like if I start to write something and I feel like this might be a little too personal, I kind of just make myself do it. Because I feel like the best songs are the ones that are the most vulnerable of someone, because people will go through. It's very rare that you go through something that other people don't experience. You know what I mean? To some degree. So if I'm just completely honest with what I'm dealing with, and just lay it out there instead of feeling like, oh man, people are going to think I'm weird or think this or that. It's just a lot of times they're going to connect with it rather than be like, oh, that's crazy. So yeah, and that's my new rule. If it makes me cringe to say it, not like, there are obviously lines in that. Like I'm not going to get super specific about people, use people's names and bring up stuff about them, but like to communicate that in a way that is more universal so people can understand it is, I think, the best way to go about it.
Yeah. One of the places I see that, one of the songs I get a really strong sense of that is in Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so much just hidden depth.
Right.
That is it's like you're holding back a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
But you're still going to that space.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do for that one, because I started writing it and I was like, man, I don't really know. Like this, a lot of my songs, I try to be very clear to a degree about what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, but I still like them to be open ended so that if you're hearing it, you can take it and it fits in your life, even though it's not maybe the exact same situation that I'm dealing with. But that one, I was like, I really like songs that are a little more cryptic, and you have to really listen to them and try to figure out what they're about, because in my opinion, it draws you in even more.
Yes.
Now there's obviously a way you can go that it could be, you can go too far with it where it just doesn't make any sense and people are like, I have no clue what this is even about. But yeah, I was actually in California when I wrote that one, and as I was working on it, I almost didn't put it on the album, because I was like, it's maybe a little too hidden for, like, I don't know if people are going to understand it or not, or even connect to it, because there's not really a chorus. I kind of hum in the chorus, and it's structured a little differently than most of the songs that I do, and so. But yeah, I that one for me, it was just a one I wanted to be very personal, but yet keep it open to where there were more metaphors and stuff like that. So it makes it even easier for a listener, to hear it and connect it to what they're going through, even though it can be a polar opposite thing. Which is fun, but it was harder. It was harder to write like that for me.
That creates a life for the song,
right?
That is completely organic. That doesn't require explanations, and it doesn't require walking you through it,
right?
And then it takes on a life of its own, and it becomes something for everyone who hears it,
right?
Those are really good songs.
Yeah, and I think it works too, especially if, like, that's not something that I usually do. A lot of times, the songs that I write, I have a story to go with them that kind of adds to it. This one, I don't ever say anything about it. I just play it and let it be what it is. Let it be its own thing. You hear it, and you may take it as this, and this. That's perfect. That's what it's for. You take it and you run with it however you want.
Is the actual backstory pretty personal? I mean, I'm not asking to hear what it is.
I mean, not really. I actually had somebody text me. It was maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I don't remember when it was exactly. And they were like, is Carolina about a girl? I said, no, it's not. It's not about a person. It's not about a person at all to me. And they were like, well, and that was a huge compliment for me, like, to hear that, because that meant, number one, they had probably listened to it multiple times, like trying to figure it out. They were connecting with it on some level, and which was exactly the point that I was trying to do. I wanted them to listen to it and make them think and probably dig into their own life and figure out. And so, it wasn't super personal for me. To me, it was more along the lines of keeping, like, figuring out whether to keep going or give up on certain things, and that battle of like, some days I'm like, okay, like even with music, some days I'm like, okay, this is everything I've ever wanted. I'm going to keep chasing it. Other days I'm like, this is so dumb. I should have been whatever. I should have went some other route, and I should have given up a long time ago. But then each time I get in that mode of, like, I'm giving up, there's always something that draws me right back into it and makes me very thankful that I haven't given up, and that I know deep down that I don't want to give up. It's just, it would be easier to quit at times. And so that's kind of the overall.
So tell me about The Voice.
Yeah.
That was how did that begin?
It was a really interesting kind of series of events. I had there's a guy I follow online. His name's Anthony Evans. He's a worship leader. He was on The Voice in season 2, I believe, but he's kind of a gospel singer. He's got an insane voice, like just unlimited range, power. He's really good. Yeah. But so I followed him on Twitter for a while, and he had posted one day, like, hey, any singer-songwriters or singers, if you have a cool video, send it my way for an opportunity. That's all it said. So I was like, okay, whatever. I send in a video, send in the Whiskey and Wine video. And he liked it and followed me back, and then messaged me, and he's like, hey, this is an opportunity for The Voice. Would you be interested? And I figured it was like one of their open call auditions. Like, I drive to Memphis and I stand in line for 7 hours and I sing one song and they tell me to go home, something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'd love to hear more about it. And then the next thing, I got an email from this lady that was one of the casting producers, and she was asked me for some more information about myself, my website. I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork stuff just for them to have information on me. And she was like, well, can you be in Los Angeles for 2 to 3 weeks next month? I was like, next month? I was like, well, yeah. She's like, this is for the blind auditions. Like, this is for the televised part.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, yeah. So then they hooked me up with, every person has their own producer on the show. Like, and so they hooked me up with the lady I had. And so she's getting all the information for me. And we did a Skype phone call so she could kind of hear more stuff. And yeah, within like 3-4 weeks later, I'm flying out there, and was out there ended up being about a month off and on. I'd be out there for a couple weeks and come home and then back out there. And they do all the filming beforehand. So my mom and grandma were out there. They were out there for a lot of the filming. We did all the filming. We did the little interviews on the couches and
oh, sure.
We did it all. I did 3 different rehearsals, 2 on the stage with the band, 1 in a rehearsal studio with the band. We did everything. And then they do 5 days of filming for the blind auditions. I was day 4. And which is 3 and 4 are supposed to be like the best days because day 1 they're going to be hesitant to hit their button because they have so much more. Day 2 it's getting better, but 3 and 4 they're really like, okay, we got to fill the spots because we're not going to have a ton of people left after this. Right. So I thought I was gold, and I was like, I'm at least going to get a shot. Like whether they turn or not, I at least want to be able to do this and be in a good position to where they're not hesitant to hit their button. But there were some delays and stuff, so we had to go back and forth from Ohio to out there, and then they were like, all right, you're day 4, you go tomorrow. And so I got up in the morning, was there all day, and then there were only like 3 of us. They take 19 or 20 people a day. And so I would have been like 17th or 16th. And I was sitting in the room, I had my guitar on, they had me all make-upped and everything. And then the producer guy comes in and he's like, we need to have a meeting with just the 3 of us left. And we're like, oh, great. Like, because they put you in a room here, like in a building, and then the building where the actual blind auditions are is right across the road. And so they just take you from that, walk you in, and you go up on stage and everything. So we couldn't hear or see anything that was going on. We just knew that it was across the street. And they come in and he's like, well, the last spot has been filled, and you will all be flying home tomorrow at 7 a.m. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And my mom and grandma were there as well, and so it was. I stole the boots. They give you clothes.
Oh yeah.
They have you bring a wardrobe, and then if they can't find what they're looking for in your wardrobe, they have a big, massive closet of all kinds of stuff, and they give you stuff. But you're supposed to give it back at the end.
Yeah.
And they had given me boots, and I had their boots, their jeans, and my button up had a red button up like flannel shirt. And I was just like, I've been out here for over a month and nothing's happening. I'm stealing these. I'm keeping these boots. And then as soon as I got back, they ripped.
They did?
Yeah, they ripped on the side.
They were prop boots.
I was like, this is so stupid. Couldn't even get good boots out of it. But yeah, so
showbiz wardrobe.
It was an awesome experience. Just didn't. I would have at least liked to have been able to give it a shot, perform my song, and if nobody turns, that's totally fine. I just would love to have had the opportunity to give it a shot rather than be out there for so long, cancel all my shows, and then just come back home and start back over. So I may give it a shot again, but we'll see.
Good.
It's just such a long process, and I do shows for a living and stuff like that. So if I'm not doing shows and making money, I have to be doing something else that's making some money, and I can't just take off that much time and not have anything coming in. So we'll see. But yeah, it was a cool experience.
You could busk out there
in
LA.
And they pay you a little bit, but it's the hardest part was booking in advance because booking takes time. Like you don't just book stuff. Right. Oh, I want to do a show this Wednesday. Let me just set that up real quick and make a bunch of money off of it. That's not how that works at all. And so, I got back in like November, December, which is slow for me anyways. Winter has never been easy. And so I didn't have a show for like 2 months after that. Because I was just starting over again.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, risk and reward, the reward of getting on a show like that and doing well could be way greater than it's a huge opportunity, but there's also the risk that you're not going to get to do anything. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they're getting ready to set up there. We should probably get close to wrapping up. But I wanted to ask just a little bit about. I know that you're also an artist. I mean, a visual artist. I mean, you do drawings that are just amazing.
Yeah.
When did you
Thanks.
find your knack doing that?
My mom is a fantastic artist as far as drawing and painting.
Yeah.
And so when I was little, she would draw. I remember the first thing I remember her drawing was this Native American, like almost like a chief with the headdress or whatever, I forget what that's called, but with the feathers and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just amazing. And I mean, I'm little at the time, so I would start to like try to draw when I was little. And I took an art class in college that I ended up dropping because it was like 4 hours one night a week. But so I've always loved to draw, but I took kind of a break from it, probably from like high school, or right after probably like 21 to really just a few years ago. I got back into it, and I just love it. I think I get that whole side of the things from my mom. She's really good at that kind of stuff, even though she doesn't draw anymore. She hasn't drawn in probably 10 years, 15 years.
Oh, really?
She just doesn't do it. She thinks she can't do it anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Mom, if you ever hear this, you should start drawing immediately.
Yes.
But yeah, so I get that from her, and I do it now. It's music used to be my full-time therapy thing. Like if I would need an event, I would go to music. But that's also my living now, so it has to it can't be my full therapy when I have to do it sometimes. You know what I mean? I try to keep drawing as that now. Like I've had opportunities to do, people have requested certain things and they pay for it and stuff. And I haven't done that at all really yet, just because I feel like if I do that once, then I'm going to keep doing it. And then eventually I'm going to dislike drawing. Like, I don't want that. And not that I'm doing that with music, but like I want it to be completely natural and just as a release. And if I draw something and somebody wants it, cool, we can figure that out. But, and maybe down the road I do that, but I just like it to be. I put headphones on. I listen to Incubus when I draw. It seems to be really good drawing music, and I turn my phone off and I just.
Do you find the bands and the music that you listen to kind of finding their way into your music?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I think it happens. I think it happens to everyone who writes. I would say. I mean, to some degree, I try to be very careful with what I listen to. Especially if I know I'm getting ready to write or trying to write something. Like the last few weeks, I had this country song stuck in my head, and I found that all the songs I was writing or starting to write in that period, all kind of had that same feel. And so I was like, all right, I'm not listening to this song anymore.
Well, I'm so glad that you mentioned Pink Floyd. Because I totally heard like Roger Waters in I Close My Eyes.
Oh yeah.
And that
big
when that just swells up.
Right.
I'm just hearing I'm just hearing big or massive, just everything. Who produced that album?
Okay, so I did it at Earthwork Recording Studios in Newark, Ohio. Brandon, who actually is putting this on, was my producer for the whole thing. We had some different musicians that actually the same exact guys did My Drug as well. And so they're so good, and Brandon is amazing at, like, if I come to him, because he does more of the bluegrass type stuff, but when I come to him and I say, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for, I give him a few references of songs that have similar qualities, and he's amazing at finding that sound that you're looking for. So if you or anyone that you know is looking for a studio, they do fantastic work. They're really, really good.
Well, it's a phenomenal album.
Thank you.
It sounds so good.
Yeah,
I mean, every bit of it.
We worked really hard on it. The recording process is always difficult. Not difficult for me. It's just I know what I hear in my head, and I don't get there until the last 90% of it is done. Like once it's almost completely done, that's when I'm like, oh, finally. So the first 80% of doing everything, I'm like, man, this doesn't like it's not there. You know, nothing's set up right. The mix is off. But when we did that, I mean, I was in there from January to March. Almost every day, Monday through Friday, working on stuff, and so But it was. I mean, I'm very proud of that record.
Yes.
I know Brandon is as well, and it was just a.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love recording. It's a great time.
Yeah. I love recording when you're below a stage that's getting ready for a production.
And you can just hear everything.
Yes.
And the thing is, they're probably not doing that much up there.
No,
but
no.
It just sounds like they're.
Well, it's because it's 100-year-old wood.
Right. It sounds like they're just up there stomping, or there's like a bowling alley.
I thought I heard a piano. I don't know.
Yeah,
keys or something.
You probably did. I'm not sure.
What?
I'm not sure what's going on up there.
So okay, so let's wrap it up. What's coming up for you?
Shows. I have a bunch of shows coming up this month, April, and then really into the summer. I have a bunch of cool stuff coming up. Shows. I'm getting ready. I'm going to hopefully record another single before too long.
Nice.
I think I'm going to go that route for a little while. Do a single here, a single there, and then before I am able to do my next full length project, just to kind of keep the ball rolling and
Right.
and
Keep the momentum.
Yeah, that way I don't have to wait 2 years before I release something.
Right.
So shows. Hopefully releasing some more new songs soon, and just chopping. I like to picture that this is whatever I'm doing is a giant tree.
Yeah.
And I have an axe, and I just got to keep chopping at it, no matter what. So I just keep chopping away and
Good, man.
seeing what.
Don't
what
stop
happens.
writing.
I appreciate you either.
Yeah.
You either.
It's great. It's great talking to you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me be here and doing this. I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
That'd be
I'll make
great.
sure to pass the word around. And
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony
it'll be good.
Mossburg.
Thank you very much.
All right,
well,
man.
have fun tonight.
Yeah, let's get ready.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
It's your eyes I can't forget. The way your smile could pull me in. You're on my mind every time I close my eyes. Anytime that the world it tries to steal my life and color, I'll be fine, 'cause for a moment we're right there with each other. That's why I don't mind when I close my eyes.
Okay, well, there you go. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it, despite the technical difficulties. I've got everything all set right at this point, so future episodes will sound like I know what I'm doing. I may still not know what I'm doing, but it will at least sound like I do. Please remember to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on my website, danheight.com, under the podcast link. Also, come socialize on Facebook and Twitter at FITKPod. Thanks again, everybody, for listening, and let's go make some stories.
Anytime that the world it tries to steal my life and color, I'll be fine. Just for a moment we're right there with each other. That's why I don't mind when I close my eyes. Some days I feel like caving in. It's your voice inside my head that keeps me calm when I see red. You save my life every time I close my eyes. I close my eyes.